everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be reviewing the new Fenty Beauty by Rihanna Pro Filter Foundation. This is a long-wearing soft matte finish foundation that is medium to full coverage. It retails for $34 US. You get 1.08 fluid ounces worth of product, and it comes in 40 different shades. 40. When I first heard that, it was hard to wrap my mind around how many different shades there were. And so for this particular foundation, I forced myself to go down to Sephora. I hate doing it. If you've been to Charleston, we literally only have one Sephora. We have like a JCPenney Sephora, but of course, they don't carry nearly as much as like an actual regular Sephora. And so we only have one of those. It's on King Street. It's in downtown Charleston. It's a pain in the butt to get down there. It's a pain in the butt to walk around there because the parking, it's a pain. So I avoid it, and I usually do my purchases online. But since this foundation does have so many different shades, I decided that I had to get down there in order to test it out, in order to actually swatch it and make sure that I got something that was close to my skin tone. When I got there, there were a lot of foundation shades that were already like gone. And when I was talking to one of the Sephora reps, she told me that they weren't going to be refilling them until January. So they weren't going to get a shipment until January. So anything that was gone was gone. And so I had kind of a limited amount to work with. I ended up grabbing the shade 300 because 290 wasn't available for me to try, 280 was definitely too pink for me, and 310 was too deep. And so I felt like 300 was a good match for me. The packaging of this foundation I absolutely am in love with. I love the frosted glass here along the bottom. It is glass, and it does come with a pump, which you all know I love when foundations come with a pump and you don't have to purchase one additionally, or when they just don't have one period offered. It does have a shelf life of 12 months. I figured I need to start stating exactly how long the shelf life is on all of these products because it varies. Like this one is 12 months. I believe my Urban Decay All Nighter was 6 months. My All Day Luminous from NARS is 24 months, and so on and so forth. So it just varies, and I think I need to start saying that. So this particular one does have a shelf life of 12 months. So you have a whole year to run through your entire bottle of Fenty Beauty foundation. So as far as the details of this foundation, straight from the website, it states that it is a soft matte longwear foundation that gives skin an instantly smooth, pore diffused, shine-free finish that easily builds to medium or full coverage. The oil-free formula is made with climate-adapting technology that's resistant to sweat and humidity and won't clog pores, so that wherever you are, it's going to work on your skin. Best of all, this long-wearing, light-as-air texture is undetectable on the skin, so you always look like you. So it's not going to give you cake face. That's pretty much what it's saying. As far as how to best use the foundation, it says to be sure to moisturize the skin before foundation application, especially if your skin is dry. I always moisturize before I apply anything, so that's already done. After moisturizing, prep the skin with the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer, which they did not have at the store when I went. So I'm just going to have to use one of my own primers, my most favorite one at the moment, which is my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. So fingers crossed that it works out with that one. Let's see. Always shake before use to activate. When testing shades, remember to let foundation dry completely in order to find your perfect match, which I should have done, but I guess I didn't do. For full coverage, apply 1 to 2 pumps of Pro Filter Foundation on the back of your hand using the full-bodied foundation brush. Their 110 brush, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to use my Beauty Blender per usual. Dot product onto the center of your face and blend outward. For medium, customizable coverage, apply 1 pump of Pro Filter Foundation to the back of your hand using a damp precision makeup sponge. Begin applying product at the center of the face and wherever coverage is desired. Pressing foundation into skin and blending outward. For fuller coverage, add another pump. So start with 1 pump, see how you like it. If you want full coverage, move on to 2 pumps and apply it on top. So that's what we're going to do today. Per usual, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color correct the under eye area before moving on to the foundation application. So I'm going to do that really quickly off camera, and I will be right back in order to apply some foundation onto the face. Okay, so now I am back with color corrector on and nothing else. Now before I move on to primer and foundation, I'm going to zoom y'all in so that you can get a better look at my skin really up close, and that way you see exactly what kind of coverage I am getting out of this foundation. I do have some problem areas, just overall unevenness of the skin, and I also have some like veins that run through my cheeks. And then just a spot here that I like to cover up. So I'm going to zoom y'all in now so that you can get a better look at my skin up close before applying any foundation. Okay, so this is my skin up close. As you can see, these are the little veins that I'm talking about. That's the spot that I'm referring to. Overall, like I mentioned, unevenness on this side. And then I have a very, very similar situation going on over here, just minus the spot. Okay, so now I'm just going to apply just a tiny bit of primer onto the face to help us out here. This is, like I mentioned, my Smashbox Photo Finish. It's my go-to. This one and the Professional from Benefit. If I am going to be applying primer, I usually do it here to the sides of my nose, along the cheek area a little bit, and then the forehead in the chin area, since I do tend to get a little bit oily and just not like what I have going on there. Okay, so now that we're done with that, it's time for foundation. I'm going to shake it up really well. I'm going to start off with one pump. So that's one pump. Formula I like the way that it feels because it's not too thick, not too watery. It's like just right, I feel. I'm going to start off here along the cheek area. It has a little bit of a scent that I'm really into. Yeah, I love the smell of this. So it does have a scent, a little perfumey, just a tiny bit, but it's not too strong. Like I find that my Dior Forever foundation, that one is pretty strong. This one's not too bad, but it is definitely noticeable. Okay, so this is just with the one pump. I'm getting medium coverage as it states. It doesn't give me a whole lot, but I mean, it does make my skin a little bit more even, and this is definitely something that I would wear on a really light day where I'm not wanting the full coverage effect of foundation. So yes, I'll show you all a close-up so that you can see exactly what the one pump looks like on my skin. Okay, so here it is. It kind of, covered up a little bit of the vein situation, but obviously not completely. And the same thing goes for this side. Okay, so for the purpose of this video, I do want full coverage though. So we are going to do another pump on the back of the hand. But this pump, I'm mainly going to concentrate along here and here, since I really don't need full coverage along my forehead or my nose or anything like that. This is usually, if I want for full coverage, this is where I'm looking for it. So I'm going to go in there and add more. Foundation does blend out really nicely. Okay, so I love the coverage that I'm getting with the two pumps, and I'm going to show you all a close-up so that you can get a better look at my skin now that I have full coverage on it. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like with the two pumps. As you can see, it did a really good job at covering everything up, except for that little spot, but I'm usually not too disappointed when a foundation can't cover that up because usually they can't. I need concealer for that. So not mad about that. Overall, the skin looks really even now, and it doesn't feel heavy at all. The foundation doesn't feel heavy whatsoever. And the same thing goes for this side. Not too sure if the foundation is oxidizing just a little bit on my skin because now I feel like it's a little bit too deep. So in order to test that theory, I'm going to just apply some foundation onto my wrist and let that dry up and then compare it to another pump of foundation. Tiny pump, but a pump. We're going to just let this dry a little bit and see if it oxidizes on us, or if I just grabbed a shade that may have been a little bit too deep for my complexion. Either way, I'm going to work with it. I'm going to work with it today. I really like the way that it feels on the skin. It doesn't feel wet. It doesn't feel heavy. And I do have 2 pumps of foundation, which did give me pretty full coverage. Like I mentioned, it does have a little bit of a scent, but nothing that's like overwhelming or overpowering on the nose. And I do have a very sensitive nose, so I would be able to tell you all. It's a really light, pleasant, like perfume smell, but I don't mind it. It's nice. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to jump off camera really quick in order to finish off the rest of my face, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I am back with a full face of makeup and I love it. So far, the foundation settled really nicely. It's really light on the skin. My skin feels really soft, but not like excessively matte. So it does have like that soft matte finish that they were talking about, or that they claim that it does. However, the foundation did oxidize a little bit on me, and I will show you here. Okay, so as you can see, this is what the foundation looks like now that it is dry, and it has been on my forearm for quite a few minutes, so it's completely dried down, and it dried down quite a bit deeper than what this has. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little tiny pump there. So this is what the foundation looks like wet, and this is what the foundation looks like dry. Definitely oxidizes quite a little bit. So I think that that is why the website does stress it quite a bit, that in order to find your shade, you're supposed to swatch it and let it dry completely before choosing your shade, because as you can see, it does dry down quite a bit deeper than when you first initially put it on. So if this foundation does work out for me, I am going to either return it for a lighter shade, or I'm going to just purchase a lighter shade anyway in order to customize this foundation and make it to where it's a perfect match for me regardless of the time of year, since I do tend to get a little bit lighter during the winter months because I'm not out and about in the sun as much as I am during the summer months. So we'll see how it wears though. It is currently 11:31 in the morning. I am planning on wearing this for an entire 8-hour day, so I will be back in about 4 hours in order to do a midday check-in. Okay, so now I am back for my midday check-in. It is currently 3:47, so I've had this foundation on for a good 4 hours. And before I get into it, before I get into my midday thoughts, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at the foundation up close after 4 hours of wear. Okay, so as you can see, everything is still looking really good. Everything is still full coverage, I believe. Nothing's really worn off. On this side, I can't see anything really through the foundation still. And I have the exact same situation going on this side of the face. So as you can see, everything is still looking pretty good. The foundation's holding up really well. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel sticky. It doesn't feel like anything other than my skin, really. It's super soft. I have no complaints as far as the foundation not feeling like my skin or feeling like an extra layer of something. It's definitely not doing that. I love the way that it feels on the skin. Aside from that, I have been in like full Christmas decorating mode. Today, the whole family, we've been putting tree up, we've been putting decorations up, and so there has been some sweating going on, and I haven't noticed the foundation reacting funny to it. So it leads me to believe that it will do well in humidity. Come those humid months here in Charleston, I am totally going to be using that foundation. I mean, if it holds up throughout the day. We'll see how it holds up for the remainder of the day. But so far, with the 4 hours in and me sweating and going back and forth between the house and the garage, it's held up really nicely. As of right now, the only complaint I guess that I have is just the oxidizing of the foundation, just because I can see it. You know, I'm wearing the turtleneck, so you can't really tell. But if I do this, I think that's when you can really see that my face looks a little bit more on the brown side or on the deeper side than like my neck and my chest do. So we'll see how it turns out at the end of the day. We'll see if it still continues to wear really beautifully and comfortably as it has thus far. I am planning on finishing off my day at around 7:30, 8 o'clock to give this foundation a full 8 hours worth of wear. So I will see you all back here at the end of the night. Okay, so now I am back for my final check-in. It is currently 8:15, so I am done for the day. I've worn this foundation for a good 8 hours, a little over 8 hours. Now, before I jump into my overall opinion of the foundation, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at my skin up close after 8 hours of wear. Okay, so this is the foundation after 8 hours. As you can see, it has not moved, it has not budged, it hasn't done anything out of the ordinary or funky. It's still giving me really good coverage. And this is what it looks like on the right side after 8 hours. Again, I didn't see any kind of creasing along my laugh lines. That's usually where I tend to crease, especially with full coverage foundations. This one didn't do that to me at all. And as far as the T-zone, I don't believe that I have any kind of oiliness or shininess. I do have shininess here, but that's my own doing because I did add highlight to the bridge of my nose. But I can usually tell when a foundation is going to make me dewy or made me dewy here along the forehead, and I don't really have a whole lot of shine there. So overall, it did really good. So as you can see, the foundation did a really great job throughout the entire 8+ day. It does not feel like a full coverage foundation to me whatsoever. It feels really light on the skin. It wears really comfortably. It doesn't make you dewy or extra oily or anything like that. I did, however, apply primer at the beginning, so that could have helped as well. But I didn't put a whole lot, and usually if a foundation is going to make me oily, it's going to make me oily regardless of any kind of primer that I put underneath it. So that's definitely a plus. Like I said, it wore comfortably. It gave me really good coverage without me having to cake a whole lot of product on. I did just use the 2 pumps that it suggests, and that took care of it, especially along the cheek area. I feel like overall this foundation is amazing. I really love the price point. I love the fact that they have 40 different shades. However, it does oxidize. That's the only downside that I do see to the foundation, is that it does oxidize a little bit. Now, granted, it was my own fault for not swatching it, letting it dry, and then picking out a shade. I just didn't think about doing that, honestly, and I didn't read the product description before grabbing it, because it does state in the description and in the how-to section and in the how to pick your shade section, it does state that you have to shake it in order to activate the formula, and you have to swatch it and let it dry completely so that you can see whether or not that shade matches you or not. So I don't know if that means that they're aware that it does change color after it sets, but I should have read that, and I didn't. So now I know. I'm either going to go back to Sephora and exchange this, or like I said at the beginning, I might just grab a lighter shade in order to mix it throughout the entire year, and that way I have a customized foundation shade anytime that I want it. However, it is a downside to anyone that wants to grab this foundation but doesn't have a Sephora or a location that carries it, because then you wouldn't be able to swatch it, let it dry, and see whether or not that foundation actually does match your skin. So you're kind of just looking online and hoping for the best. That is the only downside. Other than that, the foundation is great. I really loved it. I enjoyed it. I'm really happy that I tried it. And yeah, if you're looking for a medium to full coverage foundation that comes in a great variety of shades, definitely look into Fenty Beauty, because you will not be disappointed. Especially if you can go into Sephora and swatch it and pick the right shade for yourself. So thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video review and that you found it helpful. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah!